Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a text that, honestly, at first glance might just seem like a simple collection of verses. But if we actually look a bit closer, we uncover this grand, meticulously structured vision for societal growth. We're unpacking Know the Door. It's a profound piece of writing that functions as a literal blueprint for transformation, moving from the most intimate corners of our daily lives right up to global development.
So think about that for a second. How do everyday objects hold the secrets to global transformation? It's so easy to just walk past a picture frame, a window, or a straw mat and see only the mundane. But what if those micro-level objects actually represent macro-level truths about how societies are built, sustained, and ultimately elevated? That's exactly the journey we're going on today. We're going to learn how to read the physical world around us as a roadmap for actionable, meaningful change.
Section 1, meet Oluyomi Ola-David, the architect of transformation. Okay, let's dive into this.
To really grasp this blueprint, we have to understand the architect behind it. Oluyomi Ola-David is deeply, fundamentally invested in actionable change. She isn't simply observing the world. She's actively mapping out how to improve it. Her foundation is crystal clear. In her own words, she declares, "I am a Nigerian and I love people." That profound love for humanity, combined with her rich Nigerian heritage, is the engine driving her entire mission. Every metaphor she constructs, every solution she generates, it all stems directly from her deep-seated care for the global community. Let's break down her exact goals, because they frame everything we're about to explore. Her mission involves loving people globally, generating actionable solutions, influencing policy and strategy, and providing absolute clarity. And she does all of this guided by her faith in what she calls Father God. I really want to emphasize this point. She doesn't just write poetry for art's sake. Her writing is a literal framework for these ambitions. She's using the poetic form to outline a strategic vision for global development. Moving on to Section 2, Preserving Our Village Tales, the Foundation of Community.
In her framework, local history and communal bonds are the absolute bedrock of any broader global development. You literally cannot transform the globe without first understanding and preserving the local village. Just look at the line, straw mats gather village tales. Let's sit with that imagery for a moment. A straw mat is a simple, woven object, but functionally, it's a gathering place. It's where people sit together, where they talk, where oral histories are passed down. Oluyomi shows us that this literal mat represents the figurative gathering of communal wisdom. The stories of a community are its foundational data, and preserving them is step one in any developmental strategy.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how she scales up from the intimate mat to the mechanics of leadership. We have the palace gong as the object, and its impact is that it serves the kingdom. The gong is a tool of communication, right? A way to broadcast a message to the collective. But notice her phrasing here. It serves the kingdom. Leadership and mass communication in her vision aren't about dominance. They are acts of service meant to unify and inform the broader community. But communication isn't just about speaking or sounding the gong. It's equally about listening. She writes, "Attentive walls store sundry sounds." Think about what makes an environment truly supportive. It absolutely has to listen. For anyone trying to influence policy and strategy, like she aims to do, you need attentive walls. You need systems that actually capture the diverse, sundry sounds of the people to ensure that every single voice is factored into the solutions being generated.
Section 3, the door to education, cultivating individual growth.
Once the community foundation is set, education acts as the vital bridge between the collective and individual growth, and this brings us to the very couplet that gives the work its title. Open door tests the heart. It's just incredibly powerful. Think about it. Stepping through a door, stepping into new opportunities, facing the unknown, and committing to learning, that requires immense personal courage. An open door is an invitation, sure, but actually walking through it is a profound test of an individual's resolve and character. And once that student steps through the door, what tools do they rely on? She points to the humble pencil accompanying the pupil. This connects directly back to her stated goal of providing absolute clarity. A pencil is so unassuming, yet it's the primary instrument used to clarify thoughts, write down equations, and draft policies. It brilliantly illustrates how the simplest, most humble tools are the ones that profoundly shape an individual's lifelong educational journey. Take a second to reflect on that. How exactly do simple tools shape our global development? We just talked about the pencil, but she also gives us the image of a brown bag that helps circular school. It's the basic, everyday logistics, a simple bag to carry supplies, that literally sustain the educational ecosystem. Without these micro tools, the macro goal of education just falls apart.
Section 4. Patience, Nourishment, and Health. Sustaining the Vessel. Moving forward in her blueprint, we see her vision of transformation is thoroughly holistic. To enact global change, you absolutely must care for the physical body. You have to sustain the vessel. And this brilliantly illustrates that idea. She uses the slow flame that steams fresh vegetable for nourishment. Why a slow flame? Well, because meaningful, healthy, sustainable change, whether you're cooking a meal or developing a nation, requires immense patience. You cannot rush the steaming of vegetables if you want them to retain their nutrients, just as you can't rush social policy if you want it to truly nourish the population. She reinforces this with some blunt, practical biological reality. Fruit garden helps a bowel. She connects nature directly to human digestion and physical health. It's a very pragmatic, grounded component of her framework. A thriving society needs functioning agriculture, healthy diets, and robust physical health. You simply can't have a transformed world if the people in it aren't physically well. Section 5. Awakening Wings of Faith. Spiritual Ascendance.
Finally, we arrive at the culminating, most transcendent layer of her blueprint. Having established community, education, and physical health, she elevates the focus to the spiritual realm. To fully grasp this, we have to bring back that direct quote from her bio. She states, "My Father God owns and rules the universe. He is the wheel within my wheels." This is the core engine of her clarity and her solutions. It explicitly frames the beautiful, ascending imagery we are about to analyze in the poem's final stanzas. Let's move to and see how this builds step by step. Step 1 begins with a nest stir. It's a small, almost imperceptible movement in a place of comfort. But that stir leads to step 2. It awakens dormant wings. The potential that was sleeping inside is suddenly activated. This activation sparks step 3. True faith. And ultimately, true faith results in step 4, where it springs up hope. This exact progression maps the journey of personal and spiritual growth, moving from a tiny disruption in the nest to the soaring realization of hope and faith.
To bring this explainer full circle, we must remember that Oluyomi Oladevid's grand vision for global development always begins with micro-actions. Whether it's opening a window to assist fresh air, using picture frames to preserve glossy paper, or stepping through a literal doorway to test the heart, transformation is never just an abstract concept for her. It's firmly grounded in the physical actions we take in our everyday environments. And so, I leave you with this to consider. The blueprint has been laid out before you, from the village mat all the way to the awakening of dormant wings. Which door will you open today to test your heart, embrace clarity, and transform your world?